So, yeah, I think this is gonna be the shortest first episode of the podcast ever. I had this idea for a long time because I like listening to podcasts, and I was like, yeah, I would like to make a podcast about the bullshit, just talking about the bullshit, because when you talk bullshit, after the bullshit there are coming good ideas, and the good ideas that probably I'm gonna use. So this podcast is more of for me actually than for you, but I'm happy if you come along and we sit together and you're gonna listen. So because it's bullshit and I don't want to use the bullshit, it's baloney. If you don't know what is baloney, you can Google it, and this is mysterious thing, a sausage made out of mysterious meat, and it's basically called baloney because you never know what's inside. It's like whatever, you know. And this podcast that's why it's baloney. I don't know what's gonna be the final name, but it's for sure it's gonna be Baloney Podcast something or Baloney something podcast. So, but it's mine podcast. It's stuff that interests me, and just like relax, because if I prepare some information, some valid information for you guys, I try to compress it, to structure it, and to be very precise and give you the easiest tool possible. And this is a different way of thinking, and it's more concentrated, more focused. And podcast is just like sitting around like with your buddies, drinking beer and talking like nonsense. And out of this nonsense, or maybe smoke a joint, you know. And out of this nonsense, maybe some ideas are cool and worth pursuing. So it's more like a chill time, less information, less like, oh, this is the tool for this is the tool for that. It's just like, let's chill out, let's like have a moment of like not think big, you know. Yeah, like it's kind of like you see also the whole process of creating something, because you're gonna see how much is like a first draft baloney, and then out of this first draft baloney, some stuff are picked, some stuff is picked up, and I make stories out of it, maybe, or a book or whatever. I hope in the future I'm gonna have some guests and I don't have to talk all the time by myself, but we're gonna see. For me, the easiest way is that I'm just alone, like a little bit of art in the background, laptop here, yeah, and just let's chill. And yeah, this is my idea. This is what I wanted. Let's just chill and talk baloney. So I'm pretty sure that nobody ever gonna see this episode ever, because when you start, there are not people around you that they are like waiting, unless you are famous and you start a new thing. But if nobody knows you, it's like you just send a message into the abyss, into the empty space of the universe, and maybe some nerd someday will find this message and watch it, and then do the nerdy thing. By the way, I'm a nerd, so it's okay. I can call people nerds. I know them pretty good. I can spot them immediately. Not because they don't have deodorant. I just see them. Even if they have a fancy suit, I know they are nerds. So yeah. So since this doesn't matter, this episode, so I think I can slowly reveal my evil and diabolical plan about all the books that I'm writing, that also those that are finished, and how the idea came. I think it's gonna be like, this episode is for me to summarize everything and to prepare myself for the next chapters, because there are gonna be next chapters of adventure. It's just the beginning. So I started writing a few years ago. I started with my first book. Before that, I wrote some stuff, but as a copywriter, and I didn't had like any idea how to write a book. In my life about writing, I read 2 books. One was On Writing by Stephen King, and the second one was How to Write a Movie Script. I don't remember the authors, so sorry. Yeah, I only read about writing. I only read those 2 books. I finished university with a bachelor degree. It was like a mix between sociology and psychology. And I read a lot of philosophical books. I wrote essays for my university and so on when I was studying. But I wasn't really writing. I think the first story that I wrote first was a screenplay for the short movie that I never made, but the idea was really cool for me at the time. And then after a few years, I wrote few short stories, because I came back from a walk with my family. It was winter, and we went for a walk into the woods. My wife, our daughter, and our dog. And the woods was creepy. Sometimes, I don't know what is your idea of ghosts, are they existing or not, but some places just you feel that something bad happened, for example, and they are a little bit weird, like your body is reacting in a weird way, in this animalistic way of like goosebumps, and you know the danger is near. Kind of like animals when they go to the slaughterhouse. They don't know this is the slaughterhouse. They don't speak human, but they know that the danger is coming and something is wrong. And we walk through this woods, but only on the road. It was like a day and it was snowy. And I had this idea because when we come back to the car, I smoked a cigarette and I talked with my wife and I said, do you feel it also? It's like a little bit creepy here. And she was like, oh yeah, I felt it. A lot of eyes looked at us. And I looked around, there was no people, and I listened because I was alerted and I was listening like, if there is an animal or something, I have to take out my family to the car and to the safety. We came back home, girls went sleep, and I was sitting alone on the couch and I was thinking about this image and the idea, and I remember how our dog was running away because we took out the leash, and the dog was running just like freely in the woods. And I thought like this is like a good base for the short horror story. Like the family goes to the woods and they disappear. Only the car is left on a parking lot. And the next day, in the night, the guy is driving home from work and stops in the middle of the road because there is a dog. And they find the car, they don't find any blood or anything. The family disappeared. They have the steps, police is like making recon, and they see that the steps in the snow just stops and disappears. And I was like tinkering, I would say. So you just like move around with this idea, what you can do and how you can do it, and is this like a big story? What could happen with this family? What happened with the dog? Do you make this story like after a few years, the dog is still waiting and the family shows up, or father of the family shows up and takes the dog, or something like a really heartwarming moment, you know, of the story. And then you have like a gossip from the people that maybe dog just ran away or something. And I was like really thinking about this. I wrote this very short story. It was like a very, very short, like more of an idea, like a script of idea, I would say, than like a full-on short story. Sorry, but I gave my wife to read it and she liked it. And I was like, yeah, maybe I'm gonna start writing short stories. I think I started maybe one more or two more, but I didn't finish them. And then I stopped thinking about it, and we were living in Dresden, Germany at the time, and the idea came to me again. And I remember we went outside the Germany for like a trip, and we were driving, and I told my wife, like, I'm thinking about writing a book, and I kind of want to do my version of like 50 Shades of Grey, like this romantic porn style book for women, but with like a, not this type of like a, I don't judge or anything, but most of the books, I don't mean the 50 Shades of Grey, most of the books, this type is like a A, B, C, D, E, and it's always like the same, and it's kind of boring, you know. And I was like, I would put the twist on it, and I would like to like write a romantic book with the cool sex scenes in it, and maybe drugs, and yeah, I don't know, like adventure type style thing. But I had no idea. I had no real concept. Then came to me the original title, and the original title was actually pretty nasty, and I made a whole story about the title, but at the end I changed it because it wasn't like fitting the stories. The story was, at the end, the story was really like romantic but fun, not like boring romantic, like they meet on a bridge and so on. But it was like this story have a balls, this book have a balls. Like it's interesting, it's action from the beginning, and you're changing the pages, and because you want to know what's gonna happen, and every few pages something new happens, because I had no idea how to write a book, so I wrote a book that is not boring for me. That was so simple. That wasn't boring to write. And yeah, so it was like April when I told my wife about this, but I didn't start writing until October. And in October I started to write, and it was hard. And it was very hard because I didn't want to be influenced by like any other book or movie or like a course for writing or something. I wanted to create something, and I wanted to see, is it possible that I can make it? So I chose the like a hardcore way, because normally you can go for like a course or something about writing, and then you have basic tools, you know. And besides those two books, by the way, I lost them when we were moving out from the country to country and traveling. I lost those books, and I think recently my wife bought me the Stephen King book. So I didn't read it. I thought maybe I'm gonna find it on the internet. But I was like, let's try. Let's try. Let's make it fun, the learning experience, and let's suck. Because I said to myself, don't be ambitious. Take it the easiest way. Take it the easiest way possible that you can, and don't try to be good. Just be mediocre at best, and do your lowest, but finish it, and then see after first draft, see what this is about and how it's done, and can you even make it, and do you want to make it? Because after first book, you know, are you going to write more, or it stops? It's kind of like a first tattoo. You either know that you're going to make more, or it's just like a last tattoo in your life and you kind of regret it already. So I started to write from like a small idea. I wanted to incorporate this idea from the short story about the family disappearing. I wanted to incorporate this into the book. But at the end, when I finished the book, how can I put it? Half of the book was changed. So I had no idea how to write a book. I started to write a book with short stories, because I could do it. Short stories like 1.5 page of A4, or 3 pages or 4 pages maximum. Like a short stories, like somebody is telling you like a short story from their life. The concept of the book, this was kind of ambitious, but I didn't take it like super seriously. So the concept is that you can see the life of one person throughout the books. But there are many different characters, but from the early childhood to the being old man, and with the middle and being young man, you see the whole life of the person. And it's interesting enough to see this life. And because if you think about it, like, not everything what we experience in life, it's worth like sharing, building stories out of it, and so on. But we have those moments that if we put them together like a collage, and we see ourselves in this like a modified body by the age, it's kind of interesting story, you know. And so this was my concept, to like do like a young, middle, and old man who's interesting enough and have like a cool adventures in life. And yeah, this was my basic idea. And the second one, I wanted to make a love story. So I wanted to use the schematics of the love story, which I did, by the way. Classic schematics, but I put such a twist on it. So if you know this, like technically, if you know the schematics of love story and what really love story is, what points love story have to be a love story, then if you finish the book, you are like, oh, it was nicely done. I'm pretty proud of it, actually. I'm pretty proud about this, because it was like you do the exercise for your studies, and the exercise is pretty good, the end result. So this was, and I wanted to put like crazy adventures with drugs. I wanted to write some sex scenes, like a hot sex scenes that when you read you are blushing and you are like kind of horny. I think I can make better job after reaction from the people. I know I can make it, because I was like a gentleman, I would say, when I was writing it, and mostly from women I heard like, you can go further, because I don't know, do you know this, guys, but women books are like men porn, like a video porn for guys. Like if you read like some books and some descriptions of sex, it's like Jesus Christ, like hardcore, and women like this. So I know I can go further with this, but what I heard about drug trips in the book, because this is not like a Requiem for a Dream, you know, like, oh, this is gonna be hard. No, this is kind of fun part about like a young guy who's like trying out stuff, you know, like you do, like you are young, you want to know, everyone is like trying some different things, like alcohol, some substances, maybe, I don't know, ayahuasca, whatever. Like people are trying this because you are interested, like. So the trips and the experience of the drugs that I wrote in the book, people said like, this is really good. Some people never took drugs, and they say like, I will never take drugs, but after what I read in your book, I know how it is. I could imagine this, I almost felt it. So thank you for this. This was like a real experience without taking the substance. So this was also. So I started to write a book from the short stories. I had like a vague concept, like a small timeline where I put some points, some names of the characters more or less, and I was like, let's see what happens, how I can do it, and can I do it even? And yeah, it was quite like unknown. I had no idea what I was doing. Honestly, like I had no idea. So I write this short stories, and I count the pages, because I was like, I want to write like around 300, maybe 280, 260 pages book. Sorry. So I had to had like I would say around 120, 130 pages. I was counting like 130 pages A4 of first draft to make it into like a standard book. 260 pages. It's like around, let's say. And I was like really counting pages, like, okay, today I have to write 1 page, today I have to write 2 pages, I have to write 3 pages. Because I was like, I want to finish this book as fast as I can, maybe in 3 months or 4 months or something. And I wrote the half of the book, and half of the book is starting in the moment that I wanted to have this like a explosion, I would say. Not physical explosion, like something is blowing up, but the explosion like of emotions and like a hit. That's something that hits you and you're just in the middle of the action. There's no like, oh look, this is this, this is that. No, you are just go. What? Yeah, go. And you are like in the middle of the rodeo. So I did this. I wrote the half of the book, and I was like, okay, I know what points I have to put in and how many pages I have to write. So now I can start from the complete beginning, and going from the complete beginning, I'm gonna go to the half of the book where I originally started writing, and then the end is already done because I had like few pages to write at the end. And sorry, I think I'm gonna have to go and take something to drink, like in a real podcast. So I started to write from the beginning, and I was like going through the timeline that I figured it out more or less. And then in the half of the book, I saw that the ending that I figured out, it's impossible because the story goes in the other way. And I was like, damn, I have a half of the book ready. I already wrote half of the book. I was so happy, I was so proud of myself that I already wrote half of the book. Now I have to write only the other half. But I saw, it was like, guys, I'm sorry, I have to go take something to drink. Give me a moment. So, cheers. This is not medical cup, this is Swiss cup, by the way. So, this is not for children, I'm gonna vape. So I have this half of the book, and I was like, I don't want to waste this because it was a lot of time for me and a lot of effort. And this is my first book. I want to do it. I want to know how I can do this, you know. And I was pretty devastated, to be honest. I was like, damn. But I saw it. I saw like, I didn't have experience, any type of experience with writing, but I saw that the story goes in a completely separate way, which I designed and I intended from the beginning. So I made the decision that, okay, I'm gonna, if this new way of the story, it's not cool, I will somehow cut it and I will write like a simple bridge with this, what I already wrote. But let's explore this. It took me like more time. I stopped writing for I don't know, 2 months, maybe 3. I didn't have so much time for writing, and then I think it was May, after over half a year, almost 7 months, I finished the book, my first book. I finished it. I was intending to have like a 260 pages book, but at the end it was almost 500 pages book. And I decided to cut it in half because it's too big. Come on, like, let's start soft, you know, like let's start from the adventure and then go further. And the first draft of the book was like over 500 pages, but then I cut the book into half, and there is a past and there's a present, and I decided that you start this adventure with this guy. I think I can say it's Freddy. So you start, it's Frederick, but in the book everyone calls him Freddy. So you start adventure with Freddy just in the middle of like a drama that is in his life. You have no idea what happened before. You have glimpse, like a short sentences, paragraphs about that something happened before. I know exactly what happened before because I wrote it, and it's pretty like wild adventure. But you have no idea. You just start with this character. You're either gonna like it. I wouldn't say you're either gonna like it. You're either gonna love it or hate it. This is this type of character. Like, you're gonna love it or hate. If you're gonna love it, you're gonna love the adventures. If you hate it, like, you should change the book immediately. So I cut the book, I prepared this, and it was in my drawer. Then I published it, then nothing really happened. Then some people read it, some people not. And I was like, after I think 2 months, I was like, maybe, because when I finished the book, I was like, this is the last book that I wrote. I'm never gonna do it. I don't know how I did it, and I'm never gonna do it again, ever. I cannot like replicate this. It's impossible. It's like, it was like a beginner's luck, you know? I know the book is good, I'm happy with it, but it was like a beginner's luck. So after 2 months, I was like, yeah, maybe I'm gonna write something again. I wrote a few more pages of the story, the same story. And like a third part, I started to writing third part of the book series. I left it for like a while, but already knew that I can do it again. And I wrote like a few concepts for the books. I started to write a few other books. In the next 2 years, I wrote like 10 different books, but they were in different stages of completion, I would say. I wrote a theater play that I still have to finish. I wrote a book about writing, about creative writing. That is completely different series of books. I designed the science fiction series that I want to make about the AI that is taking place in far future in a completely different planets, but still with humans. Yeah. I wrote actually I wrote 2 books, but finalized product, it was 1 book about reincarnation and about the character that is reincarnating throughout the ages and throughout the lives, and nobody believes him because nobody really knows how this whole reincarnation, heaven and hell works, and so he's just like telling you his journey and like writing a journal that we are fortunate to read, you know. And I started to write a book for children because I had like a situation where I wanted to read to my daughter to sleep, and most of the books that we were looking for in the like bookshop, they were like kind of boring, you know. Like this, they weren't the stories that I want to read every night to my daughter. I was looking for something like a light soft hobbit, I would say, like Hobbit is for children. Tolkien wrote it for children, but I was looking like even something softer, like a fantasy world, but like even softer, and I couldn't find it, and I was like, okay, so maybe I'm gonna write one, and kind of I had in this book, I will also finish it, I think maybe this year or next year. Yeah, the inspiration was kind of mixed, because the inspiration was my daughter, and like looking at this person that is like growing up, and the second one was Zelda games, the Zelda games from Switch that we played with my daughter. I'm a fan actually of the new like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. And we were playing this together on the Nintendo Switch, and we were listening also the like concerts of instrumental concerts from Japan. By the way, if you never saw it, like a soundtrack from Breath of the Wild or Zelda Breath of the Wild or Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, you can listen on YouTube soundtracks, or you can find also like a Japanese orchestra playing the music from I think it was from Tears of the Kingdom, but I'm not sure now. You can find it, and it's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing music. The games are amazing, and the music is amazing. The scripts are amazing, and yeah. So I was like, yeah. So let's write like a story, fantasy story with parents, and like a princess that is growing up and experiencing like a fantasy world. And yeah, the mommy is different, the dad is different. We don't really know who is like it's kind of secretive, you know. She's just like a princess. She lives in a castle, but is it gonna be only like a castle, or there's gonna be some like a sci-fi stuff? We're gonna see. I want it to be with like a magic for sure, like a magic stuff, and mystical, I would say. Mystical, 7 different kingdoms type of thing, you know. Like when I saw the opportunity, I was like, oh, this book can be very symbolic, and I can use the knowledge that I have about symbols throughout the human ages, and what people left after them. Like, this can be interesting book. Also like adventure, you know. So I started this series, and yeah, the books about writing, it's actually the series of books about creative process, about creativity of the human mind. Because I study the psychological aspects and psychology and sociology also, so it's like a human behavior in the groups aspect, not only like a single person. And I'm interested in psychiatry also, because like this is like a third part of this chemical, you know. You have sociology, that is like a group people and how people interact actually, and what type of, I would say, like I don't know, I would maybe pressure, or maybe some different words, but I would use pressure, like what social pressure you have from the other people, and this is from like living with the other humans. Then you have a psychological aspect, so psyche, Sigmund Freud, and like your personality, ego, and so on. And kind of like, if you go from this, from psychology, then you are like, it has to be something more, and there is, and there is like neuron connections, and this is like strictly medical, so because this is neuron connections, genetic things, social things, but also structure of the language is like important for the brain. So brain, and if you are like interested in like what the brain is doing for us and how does it work, then you have to know like about the hormones and what they do to us and how we react and how our emotional responses not always are emotional, but they are chemical responses of our body for the substance. And this is not like a drug, illegal substance. This is like a substance that you have in your body, and every one of us have it. So yeah, and to take this into account and like a process of making fun in life and of creating something, because this is like very important for me. Was creating and writing was also important because I started to write after very long time when I was depressed. Like I had like a period of, I would say, 20 years of depression. It was on and off, but it was like a long journey partner of mine, and writing helped me overcome actually also this depressive and depression. Yeah, it helped me a lot, man. It helped me like tremendous amount. So I wrote that. I wrote this play that I talked about it before, and it was play about the miner, like a guy that is working in a mine that is someday dying, allegedly, because he fell down into the shaft, and the book starts that the play starts that people are saying this information to his wife. And this was also like a kind of mystical thing, and it was fun. I have to finish like and make like a nice ending for this story. But for me it was like because I love writing dialogues, and for me this, come on, the play, the theater play, it's just dialogues. Like, come on. So for me it was like a cool fun, because normally you have to create a little bit more story, and here like only the characters are telling the story, and you have to be like more caution because you have less tools. Yeah, I started to write like a book from the woman perspective, kind of love story, kind of life story, kind of drama. I don't know yet how it's gonna be. Growing up maybe story, but from the perspective of woman growing up, because I was like, yeah, let's try this. Let's be wrong, and let's see how much wrong I'm gonna be. Because if I'm gonna take hate for this, I wanna know where I made the mistakes and what I got wrong and what I got right, actually, because the things that people not gonna be angry, then I got it right. Yeah. So I wrote those books in the different stages. I published some of them. Now I have to translate them and to English and German and maybe other languages. One book is already translated out of them, but I have to do it. I have to do it again with other books, and it takes time, and it's a boring process. I would say the most fun when you have in writing, it's first draft. If you write your first book or your few first stories, it's not fun. Probably you are scared and you think all the time that you're gonna fail. But after a while, it's the best part to not know. It's an adventure. You have this adventure with the characters that you are reading about, that you are writing about, and this is amazing. So I would say the first draft is my favorite part. Then the second draft, it's always like, oh, I have to cut this, I have to make this nicer, polish a little bit, put some glitter, put some fancy stuff a little bit to make it like a not so rough, not so raw. And the third draft is like a, you read your, at this point you read your book like so many times, and this is like just before the publish, and to like smooth it out as much as you can, because I'm sorry, you never can get it completely perfect, but 80% is okay. Yeah. So this is gonna be like, it's like a tinkering, to be honest. You have to read your book, and I'm a little bit shy about this. When I read my book, it's like I'm not this type of like, oh, I was so amazing. Oh my God, I'm flamboyant, I would say. I'm just like, oh, I remember this one. Oh, this isn't so bad as I remembered. Like the highest compliment, like not bad for myself. It's like not bad. You did the job pretty right. It's okay. I can make it nicer now. Like I have more tools, for example, or I know how to solve it because I'm not in the story. I'm outside of the story already. So yeah, this tinkering part, and it's you read it, you're reading it, you're another read. Oh, this, you go through the dialogue, and you go through the dialogue, you read it, and you're like, you know what is happening, but you know the dialogue, for example, should be more smooth, more like a play of good players, tennis play, I would say. And okay, I come back, and you start fixing it, how you can tell the same thing with the paraphrasing and so on. It's like a kind of boring process. Then you have to prepare everything for the translation. You translate it, and yeah, you have it. And then you check the translation, because okay, the languages that I don't speak, okay, I guess I'm gonna trust somebody about this. But when I write, I'm pretty precise. I like this about my writing, that I'm pretty precise, like, let's say precise. And I like my writing to be precise. Like, you know when it's sad, and you know when it's happy. You feel it, I would say. But some words in a different language, they don't have the same emotions. So you have to check the translation and be like, okay, maybe I can use this word instead to have like a more power, more like a, like a hit, because this word in this language doesn't work so fine. So yeah, this is like a boring part of the process, but then at the end you kind of appreciate your work, because you know what you did in the first draft and second draft, and it gives you like a dopamine from satisfaction, but like this, I completed something satisfaction, this is like a nice moment. And also, like, you have like your last control of the book, because after this you don't have any control of your book. You don't really know how it's going to be printed. There's this can be like you think like you locked your project. It's locked in a PDF, and it's like a safe system designed for print, and then you see like one letter is gone, and you're like, how this happened? And this happened because your PDF has to be translated into different format for the machine that is printing your book. And in this transferring process, some things can be lost. Everything is possible. Or sometimes you didn't saw it. So yeah, but this is the last moment of the control of the book, and then the stories are not yours anymore. And I like this, that this is not my story anymore. I like to forget my books and come back to them with a fresh look, like more or less objective, like from the outsider, like I don't have to read this book, and I don't have to be nice to this book because I wrote it. I'm like more critical, like, can be this better, you know? So, yeah, this part of the process. So now I had ambitious plan for this year. I don't know, can I finish it? Maybe. To publish all 10 books in the upcoming year. But with the translation, this is like, if I have to get help, like completely honest, I have to get help. I have to get help from other people, maybe from the AI in some part of the process, because I don't like need AI to write my books, because I like writing. For me, the writing process is the best time. Like this is my time. When the book is done, I'm not interested anymore. The story is done. Like I did what I could for this story. Now I'm interested in another story, you know. And I'm not much of the reader of the story. So for me, it's kind of non-attractive if the AI would completely write my book for me, because I like this like your house is coming ready to go. Like they put just few walls and ta-da, it's ready. But you can build a house and you're enjoying it. The question is how much time you have and how much money you have and so on to just play with building a house, you know. With writing, I have a time for writing, so this is not the problem. The problem is all the tinkering that comes after writing. And this is like a time consuming. I would say like I can write a book like 300 pages in 1 month. Yeah, this gives like 10 pages per day, 30 days. Yeah, I can do it, no problem, and it's gonna be good. But this is not the end product. This is first draft. Then you have to make like a 2-week hiatus, 2-week break at least, and then you have to read this book that you think you did so well, and then you're reading it and you're like, oh, I didn't do it. At least this part, I didn't do it well. I have to fix it. And you start fixing. And fixing takes time. The fixing and the polishing and preparing for publishing, I would say it's like easily the same amount of time that takes to write a book, at least for me, because I like to write fast. But also it's like when I'm writing, I'm pretty obsessed. And it's like a weird moment for me because I'm like in the zone. I'm in the zone, and this zone is like I'm in the story, you know? And it's not like I'm a workaholic and I think all the time about the story, and I cannot talk with my wife or make love with her because I'm thinking about story. I'm an artist, not this type. I'm more of a like I enjoy my day with my family, but in background there is like a small process, like a small app that is constantly thinking and figuring out the problems, solutions, and actions from the book, how the story can go. The small app that gives you ideas, that constantly work on ideas. And this is, when I'm in this process, it's kind of annoying because this is like, you feel it. And a few times I had like, I was in this process, I went sleep and I was writing in my sleep. And it was creepy, and it was scary, and it was weird because I wake up, I sit on the laptop and I just wrote what I was writing in my dream. I already had the pages. I just have to move it from the dream to the reality. But it was creepy. It was like, you didn't feel like I was writing before sleep, then I was sleeping and I was still writing, and I could see the screen. I was reading like I was like this pillow, and I see myself writing on a laptop, and I look at the screen, I'm reading it, like, it's not bad, it's a good idea actually. And I'm reading this like, yeah, this, we can solve this like that. It's pretty good. And then I wake up, and I wrote it, and it was weird. I mean, it helped, but it was weird. So when I'm writing, I'm in this obsessive state. That's why, for example, now I don't write so much. I have like a longer break, and I'm coming back to the writing. I think in next few days, I'm gonna start again to write. I didn't write for half a year almost. So since I started writing, I think this was the longest period that I did not write or create like a thing. So yeah, because like talking like this, it's kind of easy. It's easier than writing a book, because in the book, I have to figure it out what words will make you feel in a certain way and will make you understand the world of the characters and the world of the book. And it's pretty complex. I'm not gonna lie. This is like a pretty complex task to do. I do it like because it's my thing, so it's like a fun and it's like kind of easy for me. But when I break it down, what I'm doing, like this is like complex stuff. This is not like an easy peasy thing that you can say just to the child, like, oh, you can do this. Not really. Not really. I try while I'm writing all the time. I try to sit like back a little bit and look what I'm doing, so I can share this knowledge and analyze it. But every time I analyze and I summarize the knowledge, the tools that I use, the skills that I use, I'm sometimes a little bit scared. Like, how am I doing this? How is this possible? You know? So, yeah. I think that's it. Oh, maybe I will tell you at the end we can oh, it's almost 1 hour, so it's not the shortest podcast ever. It's decent for the first episode. I hope, because statistically I think 80 or 90% of the podcasts don't go over the 13 episode. So I hope I'm gonna go over 13 episodes, just to, like, you know, for my statistics and for my pleasure. So at the end we can summarize, not summarize, we can like put everything together about the books. So we have like a romantic adventure series with like sex and substances, and this is called Love and Drugs. And every book has like a down title, but I cannot tell you all of them. Then we have like series of books about reincarnation, and this is 100188. I use the short form 100188, but the full like I don't think I'm gonna maybe say this or maybe somewhere like, but this is about 1001 lives, 88 dimensions, because the book is not only in this world, it's in the different dimensions. Kind of like traveling through dimensions of the world, but not the like universe, it's like a inside, like a quantum kind of thing, hell, heaven type of thing, and so on. So this series of books, then we have a sci-fi series that I'm not gonna name, but I can tell you the first book in the series is gonna be named Alpha Beta, and the first book has 3 different stories. Yeah, one of the main characters is like a how I can put it, fully conscious AI. So it's not AI anymore, it's a consciousness without body. And this is one of the characters in the book. So it's like a AI with the soul, I would say. Yeah. So it's gonna be pretty interesting, a sci-fi series, and it's gonna the series starts in the present and then go to the far future. So we have those 3. Then we have a series of books about creativity of human mind, and it's called Psychedelic Guide to Human Creativity. And the first part is creative writing, the second part is storytelling, the third part is like it's called the third part is called Sparks, because those are like short stories that you can use. That's going to be book with open source stories. So you don't have to wait until I'm gonna be dead. You can take a story from this book if this inspires you in some way, and you can use it and you can earn money out of it. You can take characters, so like a full open source stories that you can use, like if you're starting on, or you wanna, or you didn't start but you wanna some ideas, you can just take it from this book. So this is gonna be, and the fourth part of this book, I think it's gonna be like a, I don't know how I'm gonna solve it yet, but it's gonna be more about the spiritual and the psychological, medical, psychiatric kind of way of human mind and body and soul, because it's gonna be also a little bit spiritual. But I want to keep like I would say technical parts, so you can have it separately, and this is like complete thing. And there's also this kind of like I would say philosophical, metaphysical thing about creating, writing, and being a human. So this, then we have this is the fifth series. It's Amazing Adventures of Princess Anastasia, and this is about this Hobbit-like, but with a young princess and her family and her adventures in a fantasy kind of world with magic and this kind of stuff. Mythical, mystical, symbolic for children, but if you read it closely, you're gonna find some more. You can read it to your child for the dream, and it's gonna be just like an adventure book. But if you are a grown-up, it's kind of like a Disney movies. If you are a child, you see one movie, and we as adults, we see a completely different movie. So this is the 5th series, and they're like small books. I also wrote we have like a theater play. I wrote also like a philosophical book. Then it's this like a book from the woman perspective. I want to write still the horror book also, or maybe horror stories. Like I want to have this like my inspiration, like the genre. I take the genre as an inspiration and like maybe like a structure from this genre, and I'm gonna put my like a version of it. Yeah. Did I miss something for sure? Because I was thinking about writing a Christmas book, like my version of like a Love Actually. If you saw this movie, like a Christmas movie, but in the book, and make it like a cool, romantic, and warm. Not like crazy, but like cool. And I was thinking to make like 3 Christmas books, romantic books, like no effort, just use what every story, romantic Christmas story uses, but let's make it like a little bit fun, you know? The whole idea, this is the final touch, the final brush stroke. So I want to combine all those book series into one universe. So I have in mind how they're gonna all be connected, because they are in a different dimensions, they are in a different time. Some of them are present, some of them are future, some of them are past, but I'm gonna like this is why I'm a nerd, because at the end, like you're gonna see the lines and you're gonna see the complete universe from those book series. And this is fun for me. This is like a inside creative architect that is like, this is gonna be something that I am gonna live. I'm not gonna be here, but this still be maybe here, maybe in few libraries, but still, this is like this small universe. I built it, and yeah. So that's it. This is the first episode. I have no idea how I'm gonna solve this Baloney podcast. No idea how often I'm gonna. This is exactly how you create a story. You have no idea, but somehow, you're gonna figure it out. And this is gonna be last information for today. See you in the next episode. Cheers.